I didn't put any words in your mouth, did I? I didn't suggest how frequently they were. You came up with the word.
I don't really.
Well, let me put it this way. When I asked you how often you talked to Courtney Proctor, you could have chosen any word in the English language to answer that question, correct?
Correct.
What was the word that you chose?
Constantly? Never?
Not often. I don't remember,
How about
honestly.
rarely?
Rarely.
Yes.
That was your word, correct?
It could have been. I don't really recall. I don't recall.
There's a lot of
You don't recall
not
telling
recalling.
this jury yesterday that when I
today's
asked you about
testimonies.
how often you spoke to Courtney Proctor by phone, you said, well, rarely.
I don't remember.
No?
What is your definition of rarely?
Not daily. Not daily. Not
Seldom?
Once in a blue moon?
no.
Rarely doesn't mean to you 67 phone conversations within a 7-month period, does it?
A 67 time period in how many? 8 months?
In about 7 months, 67 times.
It's not a lot. I wouldn't think it's a lot in 7 months.
3 times in one day? Is that rarely?
No, but I'm not. That wasn't every day. I would.
Okay, well, when you
Oh, dear.
left the stand yesterday, did you log into your account or check any old bills to confirm those 67 calls?
No, I did not.
Did you speak to Mr. Lally about those 67 calls after we broke yesterday and before you took the stand today?
I don't believe so. No.
Did you call Courtney Proctor in one of those rare occasions?
You're a
Yes,
smart ass.
No, I did not.
this morning?
No, I did not.
Were you curious as to whether or not you had actually called her those 67 times?
Objection.
Sustained.
All right. In any case, regarding all of those 67 phone calls from February 1st until September 6th, do you maintain that during none of those calls or any portion of those calls did you and Courtney Proctor discuss the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe?
I do not remember.
No.
Do you deny discussing that investigation?
I don't deny, but I do not remember.
All right. Well, you admitted yesterday, after having seen the records, that you spoke with Michael Proctor's sister for 12 minutes on February 1st of 2022. Do you recall that?
I don't recall the conversation. No, I don't. It was a long time ago.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. Finish your answer.
I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. I just don't remember.
Okay. But my question is, after seeing the records, you saw the phone call for over 12 minutes, correct?
Correct.
And you also remember that that was the very day that the police arrested Karen Reed for this case, correct?
Correct.
The arrest of Karen Reed on February 1st was pretty big news in Massachusetts, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You had seen that arrest all over the news, correct?
Correct.
So you certainly, given the day and the fact that it was February 1st and my client was arrested that day and you're talking to the lead investigator's sister, the subject of Karen Reed's arrest had to have come up, right?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
You certainly mentioned my client's arrest with Courtney Proctor on the very day that she was arrested and you were talking to Courtney, correct?
Correct.
Now, when we broke for the day yesterday, I had also asked you about the 3 phone calls that you had with Michael Proctor's sister on the morning of February 2nd when my client was arraigned, correct?
Correct.
And you recall that her arraignment was televised publicly, correct?
Objection.
Sustained, ask it differently.
You saw her on the news being arraigned, correct?
Correct.
And one of those phone calls after, well, strike that. With regard to the 3 phone calls before the arraignment, you knew at that time that my client had been arrested the day.
All right, so update. We are on day 6 of the jury selection, and apparently they have 10 jurors. They had 10 on Friday. I don't know what day 5 has got, but day 6 is live now. So they're looking for 16 and they've got 10. So I reckon maybe by the end of the week, we might have 2.0.
Day before, correct?
Correct.
And you knew she would be arraigned in court that morning, correct?
Correct.
Certainly, when you were talking to Michael Proctor's sister on February 2nd, before her 9 o'clock arraignment, you were discussing the 9 o'clock arraignment, correct?
Can you repeat the end of that, please?
Sure. On February 2nd, the day that my client was scheduled to be arraigned in Stoughton District Court, we're talking about the 3 phone calls that you made to Michael Proctor's sister before that arraignment that very day. And my question is, certainly you were discussing the fact that she was about to be arraigned, correct?
Objection.
Sustained, ask it differently, Mr.
Did the subject of Karen Reed's arraignment come up in any of those 3 calls on February 2nd, the day she was going to be arraigned, before her arraignment?
I don't remember exactly.
What about the 27-minute phone call that you had with Courtney Proctor at 10:58 a.m. that same day after my client was arraigned in court? Did you discuss the arraignment that had just happened?
I do not remember.
You had already testified that by 2022, you were no longer babysitting for Courtney Proctor's kids, correct?
I wasn't babysitting regularly like I was before.
So is it your testimony that you happened to be talking about babysitting on February 2nd for 27 minutes, the same day that my client was arraigned in Stoughton District Court?
I don't remember what I was talking about. It could have been about the kids. It could have been about anything. I don't remember.
Sure. And certainly it could have been about the publicly televised arraignment that had just occurred, correct?
Objection.
So I'll allow this and then let's move away from this, okay? Can you answer that?
Yes, it could have been. Yes.
Did you tell Courtney Proctor during any of these 67 phone calls that you were a witness in her brother's case?
I don't remember.
Okay. Ms. Albert, you were at the waterfall on the night of January 28th, correct?
Yes.
And you also went to 34 Fairview on the morning of January 29th.
Yes.
Yet, as of the date of these phone calls that we've discussed so far, the February 1st and the February 2nd, multiple phone calls, Trooper Proctor still had not interviewed you, correct?
Correct.
You were finally interviewed by Trooper Proctor on February 10th, about 13 days after John O'Keefe was found dead on Brian Albert's lawn, correct?
Correct.
And you told Courtney Proctor that you were nervous to speak to her brother, Trooper Proctor, about this case. Do you remember that?
I do not remember those exact words, no.
All right. But you were nervous to speak to him, correct?
Of course, I was nervous in general for a police interview. I mean, I don't know someone who wouldn't be.
Were you worried that one of Trooper Proctor's colleagues might ask to speak to your son, Colin, about what had happened on the 28th and the 29th?
Objection.
Was I nervous they would ask my son?
Yeah, were you nervous that one of the investigators in this case might approach your son to ask him about his whereabouts?
No.
All right. In any case, you were interviewed at 5:30 p.m. on February 10th, correct?
Correct.
Where did that interview take place?
At my home in Canton.
Who was present for that interview?
Me, my husband, Trooper Proctor, and Trooper Bukaki.
Michael Proctor agreed to
Bukaki.
interview you and your husband together, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Mhm.
You and your husband were interviewed together, correct?
Correct.
Did either of these troopers, including Michael Proctor, suggest that maybe the two of you should be separately interviewed?
I don't recall.
When
I don't
did the
remember.
interview take place within your home?
In my family room?
Were you sitting on couches?
Yes.
You're comfortable?
Yes.
You were not in a police interrogation room, correct?
No, I was not.
And it wasn't particularly lengthy, correct?
What do you define lengthily? I don't recall. I don't remember how long it was exactly.
It didn't go into the evening, correct?
No.
And then Michael Proctor and the other trooper left, correct?
Correct.
Then at 6:17 p.m. that same night, shortly after you had been interviewed, you called Michael Proctor's personal cell phone number, correct?
I don't remember.
I may have a moment.
Okay.
You didn't bring your cheaters today. Oh, you did? Good. Okay. May I approach Sharon?
Yes.
This is the same document. I'm going to hand you one document. There's an orange sticky on it and you can ignore.
Okay.
But right above the orange sticky, there's a date of February 10th. That's what I'm directing your attention to. If you could look at those two phone calls, ma'am, and look up at me when you're done. If I may approach.
Yes.
Did that refresh your memory about those two phone calls on February 10th?
I mean, I just read them, but I don't remember.
Okay. You called Trooper Proctor at 6:17 p.m. and it appears to be a 5-second phone call. Did you see that?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Do you recall that Trooper Proctor called you back that same day at 6:21 p.m. and that you spoke for about 4 minutes?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Do you deny speaking to Trooper Proctor for 4 minutes when he called you from his personal cell phone on February 10th of 2022 after you had been interviewed that day?
No, I don't deny it, but I don't remember it.
When did you get his personal cell phone number?
Don't remember.
Years ago?
I'm sure, yes.
Because you've known that family for a long time.
Yes, I have.
And as you testify here today, you can't remember what that phone call would have been about, correct?
No, I do not remember.
Okay, I'd like to contrast your relationship with Karen Reed versus your relationships with Jennifer McCabe and Courtney Proctor. You would agree with me, and I think you testified yesterday, that Jennifer McCabe is one of your best friends.
Correct.
And you call her Jen, correct?
Yes.
And Courtney Proctor is also one of your best friends, correct?
She's not one of my best friends, no. She's a good friend. She's not one of my best friends, no. She's my sister's best friend.
Gotcha. Okay, so your sister,
My sister Jillian, yes.
Jillian is best friends with Courtney Proctor, and you're close friends with her, but not best friends.
Correct.
But you really only knew Karen Reed as John O'Keefe's girlfriend, correct?
Correct.
She was just an acquaintance of yours.
Yes.
There are no photos of you in a hot tub together, right? You and Karen Reed?
No.
There are no photos of you with your arms around each other at the beach, correct?
No.
You've never been to a baby shower with Karen Reed, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
You didn't have any contact with Karen Reed while you were growing up, correct?
No.
Karen Reed was definitely not from Canton, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll allow this and then you can move it on.
No, she was not.
No, one more question. She was an outsider, correct, to Canton?
She didn't live in Canton.
But after she started dating John, you would see her driving in and out of the street, correct?
Yes.
You'd see her taking groceries in, correct?
Yes.
Because you were neighbors with John.
Yes.
And it was the fact that you'd see her around, taking groceries in and out of the house and being outside with the kids that led you to believe that she was not only connected to John, but also to his house on Meadows Ave, correct?
Yes.
And you would see her interacting with the kids outside, correct?
Yes.
She would be participating in family type activities with the kids outside.
Yes.
And you'd see her enough that you assumed that she was living there, correct?
Yes.
And I believe you stated that you had known her or seen her for maybe about a year and a half or so. Is that a good estimate?
Yes.
And in all the time that you saw her in the neighborhood or had any contact with her and John, you never saw the two of them fight or argue, correct?
No.
You never heard them fight or argue, correct?
No.
And you had been out with them in a group setting a handful of times, correct?
Just a couple of times.
And during those times, they always appeared to get along, correct?
Yes.
And you knew of no problems in their relationship, correct?
No.
And you were particularly impressed with the time Karen spent with John's adopted children.
Objection.
Were you?
Can you repeat that once more, please?
You were impressed with the amount of time that Karen spent with John's children.
I didn't know the exact really amount of time she was there a lot. Yes, she was. So yes, I would assume that she spent a lot of time with them. Yes.
Now, on Friday, January 28th, you had plans with your sister-in-law, Nicole, correct?
Yes.
You are close with Nicole.
Yes, I am.
You picked her up at her home in your car.
Yes.
You drove her to the waterfall, correct?
Correct.
And the two of you went for dinner there.
Yes.
Your husband, Chris, came later.
Yes.
Brian Higgins came later.
Yes.
And you knew Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to stop you for 1
Yes.
second.
Un momento, per favore. I might be setting up.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, thank
Something
you,
very
Honor.
important.
I believe you testified that you knew Brian Higgins at that time, correct?
Yes.
And
Sorry.
how did you know him?
Sorry, I was Hello, my lovely. Hello. Oh dear. Hang on, it's coming. Hang on.
Out to the person that just gave us a super chat. This community is just the best. Love you all the different.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you. Yes, I'm back. I'm here. Just yeah. We will do what we can do. I just changed our our trial studio to the Dream Team. And we need to add Mr. Dan the Man in there so that we can stream to the 3. I don't remember how to do that. And what else did I have to do? Oh, I've moved it forward to the 14th in the hopes that that's when it will start. If not, we'll just postpone it. But thank you, my darling. Thank you. Yes, Bukaki. Yep. Love it. Oh, look, this whole, I was actually listening to it earlier when I was uploading transcripts. There is so many I don't recalls, I don't remembers in this. It's just not funny. But you get that. So what I've done is I've just set up the Jose Morales day 1 trial for later on today. Seeing it as I've set it up twice and missed it twice, and it started yesterday. So, oh, and I've missed her. She's not here. She popped in and popped out, and I've missed her again. But I'll have to go and jump on her message when she go and jump into her chat when she's on. But yes, you're right, Teresa. She wouldn't she wouldn't remember a damn. But she's a cop's wife. Hello.
He is a friend of my brother-in-law.
And your brother-in-law would be Brian Albert, correct?
Yes.
And by the way, when I just asked you that question about how you knew Brian Higgins and what his relationship was to Brian Albert, you didn't hesitate to say that they were friends, correct?
Correct.
It was very clear that they were friends, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the two of them arrived at the bar together, correct?
Yes.
And it didn't surprise you to see the two of them together, correct?
No.
Karen and John came sometime after that,
I believe shortly after that. Yes.
and they walked over to your table.
Yes.
And then John kind of came up from behind you and sort of in a joking way, dug his finger into your shoulder
Correct. Yes.
and essentially said, what's up? And that was about it. And he went on, correct?
He said, "What's up?" and made a joke. And
And the joke was, given the fact that you and your husband moved from the neighborhood, they decided to hold a block party. Correct?
yes.
And John was the same jokester he always was, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And you had some contact with Karen while you were at the bar before you had to leave because of the migraine, correct?
Correct.
And she was just very bubbly that night, correct?
Correct.
That's just her personality as far as you could see, correct?
As far as I knew, yes.
You didn't know her that well, but that's how she always was, correct?
Correct.
And you left the waterfall at around 11 o'clock, your best memory?
A little after 11.
And it was a particularly bad migraine that night?
Yes.
And the loud music didn't help you out at all?
Not at all.
And you drove home?
Yes.
Now, when you got home, your son Colin was not there, correct?
Correct.
He was not out with you at the waterfall.
Correct.
He was out that night, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that he stops by your sister-in-law Nicole's house quite a bit, correct?
Yes.
He's very close to Nicole and Brian's kids, correct?
Correct.
He's also very close to his aunt and uncle, Brian Albert and Nicole Albert, correct?
Correct.
So you would have gotten home maybe shortly after 11:10 p.m. approximately?
Around 11. Yep. Around that.
And that was when you entered an empty house, correct?
My son Dylan was home.
Oh, Dylan was home.
Yes.
But Colin was not.
He was not.
And Colin did not come home at 11:30, correct?
Correct.
He did not come home at 11:45, correct?
Correct.
And when the clock turned midnight, he still wasn't home, correct?
Correct.
Now, at some point, your husband Chris came home, correct?
Yes.
You testified on direct examination that Chris came home at 12:10 a.m. on January 29th.
That's what time I believe he did. Yes.
Okay. That 12:10 a.m. time, did you discuss that precise time with anybody prior to taking the stand yesterday?
No.
Was that coordinated with anybody such that your husband and you gave the same time at 12:10 a.m.?
No.
With the court's permission, I'd like to play the waterfall Valley video. I think it's exhibit 53, just that portion of 12.
Okay.
We may just have a moment, Your Honor. I'm going to allow my colleagues some time to find this, and I'll move on with my questioning in the meantime. We can have the lights on again. Now, I believe you've testified that the waterfall is very close to D&E Pizza, correct?
Correct.
But your house on Maple Street is about a half mile away from the waterfall. Would you agree with that?
About that, yes. Maybe a little less, but about that.
All right. Would you agree it's a 7 or 8 minute walk home from the waterfall if you're walking? I realize you were driving, but if somebody were walking, it would be about 7 or 8 minutes?
Maybe a minute or two less.
Okay. So you would say 6 or 7 minutes would be a better estimate to cover that half mile?
Depends on how fast you walk, yes.
And it was snowing that night, correct?
Correct.
The ground was a little bit slippery.
Yes.
If I may just have a moment. If I could have the lights dimmed again. This is the exhibit I'd like to show you, ma'am. And if you can pause for 1 second. Do you recognize what's depicted in that video? Does that appear to be the waterfall?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see the time? Do you see the time, 12:13 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay, if you could run that, Mr. Bates. All right, can you pause it there? I am going to direct do you see where it says CH3?
Yes.
And you see the timestamp up the top, correct?
Yes.
Between those two markers on the video, you're going to see somebody walking by. I'd ask you to pay attention for the next, 6 seconds or so. Come on. Stop. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, I believe it's my husband.
Okay. If you can run that. Stop. Okay. Would you agree with me that your husband left the waterfall at about 12:13 and 46 seconds?
Well, yes. I mean, that's what it says on the screen.
Okay.
Hello,
So
mister.
it was closer to 2:14 than to 2:10. Would you agree with that?
12:14, you mean? Two?
You know what? You're right. 12:14, then 12:10.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing.
Thank you. So if he's leaving at around 12:14, and by your testimony, it would have taken him he was walking home. You knew that, correct?
Yes,
He didn't have a car that night.
he did not.
And if it took him 6 or 7 minutes to get home, and by the way, let me strike that question. You had said it takes 6 or 7 minutes. Did you factor in the fact that of the weather that night for your estimate about a 6 or 7 minute walk?
Objection.
Can you answer that question? Is that what you said?
Yes, I didn't factor in I don't know.
All right, so your testimony would be you don't know if it would have taken him a little bit longer or anybody.
Everyone walks at a different pace.
Right, but whatever pace they walk at,
Mhm.
Given what you saw of the weather that night, is it your testimony that maybe it would have taken a little bit longer than the estimate because
It
of the
could
weather?
have.
Okay,
I
but
don't
in
know.
any case, let's leave it at 6 or 7 minutes. That puts him your husband coming home at around 12:20 or 12:21, correct?
Correct.
All right. And that 12:10 estimate that you had, you made that estimate before having the benefit of the video, correct?
Correct.
Now, where were you within the house when your husband came home?
In my room.
Bedroom?
Upstairs in my bedroom.
All right. And you share a bedroom with your husband.
Yes.
And when was the first time that you saw him within the house?
He came up to the bedroom.
Okay, so you were in the bedroom and you see him appear in the bedroom.
Correct.
Did you hear the door open way down on the first floor?
Yes.
Okay. And it would have taken him maybe about a minute to get upstairs. It wasn't very long.
It wouldn't be very long, no.
Okay. And when he got upstairs, you noticed that he was in wet clothing, correct?
Yes.
He appeared to be cold.
Yes.
And he got undressed, correct?
Yes.
Did he brush his teeth before bed?
I think he got right into bed.
Okay, so you didn't see him brush his teeth or wash up.
No.
And were you in the bed when he came into the bed to go to sleep?
I was sitting up in bed, yes.
Were you reading or watching TV?
I was just sitting up in bed praying for my headache to go away.
Oh, okay. So the migraine was still really
Yes.
bothering you. And you were suffering at that
Oh,
point.
love.
Suffering? I had a headache.
Well, yeah, but a migraine headache, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
It was a headache, but I took medicine and I was waiting for it to get
waiting
better.
for it to kick in.
Yes.
Okay. And that's sort of what you were concentrating on. It's really kind of hard to read or watch TV or concentrate on anything when you have a migraine, right?
Okay. Yes.
Now, you would agree with me that your husband Chris was asleep when Colin came home, correct?
Correct.
And as a mother, you couldn't have gone to sleep until you knew your kids were home, correct?
Correct.
And Colin was the remaining child who was out there, which when he came home, that would given you license to go to sleep.
Yes.
Now, at the time that Colin came home with Chris sleeping, it's fair to say this was just an ordinary weekend night, correct?
How do you?
Well, in other words, you didn't know that anything tragic had occurred or was alleged to have occurred, correct?
Correct.
So it wasn't like you were paying attention to the clock at that point and recording your memories as best you could because you knew you'd be testifying later, correct?
Correct.
Which also explains the 12:10 estimate, right? I mean, you're being asked about, times that things occurred, and it was just sort of an ordinary day, right? So it's difficult to pinpoint times, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, directing your attention to the next morning, you missed a phone call from your best friend, Jennifer McCabe, correct?
Correct.
And you believe that phone call, I think according to your memory, yesterday came in at 5:55 p.m., correct? I'm sorry, 5:55 a.m., correct?
Correct.
That was the time that you gave Mr. Lally when he asked you the question on direct examination, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to recall that time nearly 2 years later, correct?
Yes.
But regarding the 67 phone calls between you and Courtney Proctor that happened after that, you're not able to recall any of those, correct?
I just don't remember them.
All right, in any case, January 29th was your nephew Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday, correct?
Yes.
That's why you went to 34 Fairview at 8:30 in the morning, correct?
Yes.
And when you pulled into the driveway, there was nothing unusual to you, correct?
Correct.
This was
Hello.
just your
Oh, stop.
brother.
I look away for 1 minute. And look who pops in. Thank you, sweetheart. Aw. Stop. Hang on. It's coming. Oh. Oh, I know, wrong one. Whoops. How did I get there?
Shout out to the person that just gave us a super chat. This community is just the best. Love you all the different.
I like that one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been a week or two. I'll be right. Oh, are they? You know what? Touch wood. That's probably the only bit that doesn't hurt on me. Yeah, no. Taxes. How come you're all doing them now? It's not June. Does your tax year end earlier? Oh. Oh dear. I do all mine online. It's pretty easy for me, really. I will try and oh wow. I see ours is the 30th of so the 1st of July to the 30th of June is our tax year. So well, there you go. Thank you very much, Anna. There's no need for it, but thank you. Much appreciated. I get paid for ads and shit or something now, apparently. But I think I have to tick. Like I know if I've set up a news stream, I have to tick on whether or not I want it to be monetized. Duh. But does that mean I have to go back through all of my other videos that I've made and tick them? Or like they don't give you I got an email like you work so fucking hard to get 1,000 subscribers, and I got an email that says congratulations, you can now access the YouTube partnership program. Fuckers. Yeah, and then give you 10 more things to click before you can do a stream. Oh well, them's the breaks. I might just inch this up a little bit. At 1.25.
In-law Brian and your sister-in-law Nicole's house with snow around, correct?
Yes.
There were no police on scene?
No.
There was no tent protecting the front lawn, correct?
Correct.
No crime scene tape stapled anywhere or taped anywhere, correct?
Correct.
Nobody appeared to be standing guard over the front yard, correct?
Correct.
You didn't see any shard of glass, right?
No, I did not.
You didn't see 45 pieces of tail light strewn about the lawn, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you didn't see any pieces of tail light, correct?
I don't recall seeing anything.
And you didn't suspect that 34 Fairview was a crime scene, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
There was nothing that prevented you from walking all over that front lawn, correct?
Correct.
It was still snowing out?
Yes.
Brian Albert, when you approached the house, he opened the door, correct?
I approached the car, not the house.
Oh, okay. You approached, whose car was it?
My nephew Brian's.
Brian?
In the driveway. Yes.
All right. And then Brian Albert opened the door of the house.
The side door of the home. Yes.
All right. So can I have Exhibit 8, please, with the court's permission?
Yes.
Could we zoom in just a little bit? That's good. All right. I'm so bad at this stuff. Jeez. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. All right. That I'm highlighting now is the front door to the house, correct?
Yes.
And if we move along Exhibit 8 to the right, is that the side door?
Yes.
And that's the door that Brian Albert appeared from?
Yes.
And you were able to see him from the outside of the house, correct?
Yes.
And you were over to this area?
Yes.
Do you recall, is it one of those two cars that's in Exhibit 8 that you approached with the Dunkin' Donuts?
I can't make out what the cars are.
Okay. But it was either one of those two cars or a car that was parked in one of those two places.
Yes.
All right. And then did you go in that side door to go into the house?
Yes.
Fair to say that family has lived there for quite a while, correct?
Yes.
You knew that prior to Brian Albert and Nicole, I'm sorry. That's really bad form to block the jury. I'm so sorry. It's good I didn't trip. The door that is the front door, having been familiar with that house for a long time, you've gone in that front door before, correct?
Yes.
And you know that when you go in the front door of that house, you come into a little foyer area, correct?
Correct.
And then almost within arm's distance to the left is the door to the basement, correct?
Walking in the front door, arm's distance to the left.
Yes. In other words, you walk into the house.
Yep.
And then the door to the basement, going down to the basement, is right there on the left, correct?
That's incorrect. To the left is a library.
Nice. Where is the door to the basement?
You walk in the front door, you step to the right, walk a few steps towards the kitchen, and the basement door is on the left before you enter the kitchen.
All right. But the kitchen's off to the left, correct?
No, when you walk in the front door, the library is on the left. There's another room on the left.
Okay.
So you walk in, you immediately see a staircase in front of you.
Yeah.
And to the left is the library.
Right.
If you go to the right,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you go to the right, you can go into the part of the kitchen where the kitchen table is, or you can not go to the right. You can walk straight. And as you're walking, there's a door on the left, and that's where the basement door is.
Okay, so I think we're getting to what I was getting at. If you walk straight ahead, there's a door to the left that goes down to the basement, correct?
Correct. Yes.
We can have the left one. And when you were walking toward that side door, you didn't see any emergency or police vehicles outside, correct?
No, I did not.
You didn't see any first responders other than Brian Albert, correct?
Correct.
There were no lights flashing outside the house, correct?
Correct.
And inside, you saw Nicole Albert,
Yes.
Brian Albert,
Yes.
Jennifer McCabe,
Yes.
Matt McCabe,
Yes.
and Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes.
How long did you spend at the house that morning?
I don't remember exactly, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. I don't remember exactly.
And the seven of you were discussing what had happened, correct?
Yes.
At some point, it was decided that Jennifer McCabe should contact.
I used to love camping. Loved it. Loved it. In fact, I've got photos of my kids at 3 months of age with their head poking out of a tent. Used to take them everywhere. Love it.
Michael Lank of the Canton Police, correct?
Objection.
I'll let, if this witness knows independently.
Can you repeat that once more, please?
At some point, it was decided among the seven of you that Jennifer McCabe should contact Michael Lank of the Canton Police Department.
I don't remember who exactly Jennifer decided. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the discussion.
You knew Michael Lank, correct?
Yes.
And at 8:53 a.m., you sent to Jennifer McCabe Michael Lank's personal cell phone number, correct?
Correct.
And did you then see Jennifer McCabe delete that text message from you?
Objection.
I'll sustain.
You were contacted by the Massachusetts State Police this year about your phone, correct?
Correct.
They left you a voicemail on March 21st of 2024?
The state police
Yes.
about my telephone?
Well, they left your voicemail on March 21st of 2024. You've had contact with the state police this year.
Yes.
And they left your second voicemail on March 25 and then called you again on March 28.
Yes.
You told them that you were sick and you would speak to them on April 1st, correct?
Correct.
And then the state police called you on April 1st, but you did not pick up. Do you recall that?
I do not.
They called you again that same day and you didn't respond, correct?
I don't recall.
But you did learn that they had called your husband on April 1st looking for you, correct?
I don't recall.
All right. After speaking with your husband, you texted the Massachusetts State Police on April 1st, correct?
I think around that. I don't know the exact date.
All right. And you finally met with the Massachusetts State Police on April 3rd of 2024, correct?
I would assume. I don't know the exact date, but yes.
And during that meeting, the state police looked through your phone for contact that you would have had with Michael Proctor, correct?
Correct.
Did they seize your phone?
No, they did not.
Did they tell you that they had a search warrant for your phone?
No, they did not.
Did they take it back saying that they had to give it to some experts to do an extraction?
Objection.
Sustained.
They just looked through it after you handed it to them, correct?
Correct.
Then they gave it back.
Yes.
Now, with regard to your contact with Karen on January 28th, it was clear to you that Karen did not appear to be under the influence, correct?
Correct.
You didn't see her stumbling, correct?
Correct.
You didn't see her swaying.
Correct.
She was not unbalanced.
No.
She was not slurring her words.
No.
She was not talking gibberish.
No.
She was engaging in normal conversation,
Yes.
and she held the conversation perfectly fine.
Yes.
She appeared to be under control, correct?
Yes.
She was affectionate with John that night.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
I didn't come in contact with them like that.
Well, the two of them certainly were not arguing.
No, not that I saw.
You didn't see any tension between them, correct?
No.
And I mean, given your family's connection to law enforcement, you would not knowingly let someone drive a car if they were under the influence, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Everyone appeared to be having a good time that night. correct?
Yes.
And that included John and Karen, from what you could see, correct?
For the 10 minutes, 15 minutes I was there. Yes.
Now, after you left the waterfall, it's fair to say that you didn't know precisely where your son Colin was that night, correct?
I knew where he was.
Where was it?
He was at his friend Michael Leonetti's. He left Michael Leonetti's to stop to say happy birthday to my nephew Brian at 34 Fairview Road.
Okay. And you learned that from him, correct?
Yes.
So you had learned that Colin was at 34 Fairview on January 29th of 2022, correct?
January 28th. The Friday.
So is it your testimony that you know that Colin left on Friday night as opposed to after midnight on January 29th?
I don't understand what you're asking.
What just occurred is I asked you whether you knew that your son Colin was at your sister-in-law Nicole's and your brother-in-law Brian Albert's house on January 29th, and you just corrected.
I'm sorry. It was after. I'm sorry. It was
No
after
worries,
midnight.
Anna.
So I got confused. I apologize.
Not a problem. So the answer to my question is you learned that he was there on January 29th, correct?
Yes, after midnight.
And you now know that that is the same house outside which John O'Keefe was found dead that morning, correct?
Yes, I do.
And one last question. You were interviewed by Trooper Proctor, and it's fair to say you never told him that Colin was there that night, correct?
I don't recall my interview.
But it's so worth it, Uday. It's the
I have no
best
further
bit.
questions. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mallon?
And you don't pay for the
Just quickly
phone.
on.
Oh dear. Okay. Maybe not then.
Morning, Howard.
Good morning.
Now, with
Porterhouse?
reference to, you were asking a question about 67 calls over a period from February to September, correct?
Correct.
That's about 7 months, is that right?
Yes.
And roughly about 210 days or so?
Yes.
Do you have other friends besides Ms. Proctor?
Yes.
And versus some of your other friends, as far as those phone calls, 67 times over 210 days, is that more so, less so, or on average with?
Less so.
I'd rather make hamburgers.
And at no point in time did you speak to Ms. Proctor that you recall about this case or talk to Proctor outside of that interview?
Correct.
In the interview that you had with Trooper Proctor, there was another trooper present, correct?
Yes.
And you would just ask some questions about meeting with some other troopers this year in 2024, correct?
Correct.
Fair to say none of those troopers was Trooper Proctor, correct?
Correct.
And also wasn't the trooper that was with Trooper Proctor when you spoke to him.
Correct.
And they asked you questions. You had at least 2 interviews with them, is that correct?
Correct.
And you voluntarily went to those interviews?
Yes.
Yep.
Answered their questions?
Yes.
They asked for your
Absolutely.
phone?
Yes. When I was sitting there, they looked at my phone. Yes.
So they asked for your phone, you provided your phone?
Yes.
Yep. You just slice up some tomato, have some lettuce, fry up some onions, some bacon, some fresh bread rolls, and your burgers. Oh, and eggs if you want. Nom nom. Yeah, they do. They look haggard. Is it just me or do they look haggard? Like she's not that old, but really drawn and haggard. It's not like they don't have the money to feed themselves. They have a
Voluntarily,
library
maybe
for fuck's sake.
You would search one or anything like that.
No.
Yes, you can. I've got a great recipe for burgers too that are delicious.
You asked some questions about timing, and I promise there's no math that I'm asking in this, but
She's not
you've
old.
had to walk outside when it's cold outside, correct?
Yes.
You tend to walk faster or slower when it's cold outside?
Faster, me personally.
She has to be in her 50s. She's not in her 60s.
When you went over to your in-laws' house on the morning of January 29th to
Let me
drop off
Google
donuts
that.
for your nephew, you weren't expecting to go inside, correct?
Correct.
You weren't
Um,
expecting to be standing around talking to people about a friend of yours
What's her name?
potentially having died at that point.
No, no.
Nothing further.
May we approach?
Okay. Just feel free to stand up.
Yeah, no, she's got. Isn't her son Colin Albert? Is that Julie Albert? I've forgotten who I put in. Hang on. Oh, bad, Jody. I didn't put it in. That's a bit naughty. Why isn't it in there? My description. Slipping. No. This is. I'm pretty sure it's Colin Albert's wife. No, I'm pretty sure. Let me just I'll double check. Yeah, it's Julie Albert. Why didn't that? See, I've copied it. Why didn't it paste it? Hear that beeping? It sounds like the bloody machines at hospital. Right. Save.
Morning recess. You're actually complete. Your testimony was out. It's complete.
Thank you.
All right, so let's let the jurors go first because we're doing something that may take a little while. So we got you coffee and bagels. So it'll be a little bit longer break for you. Okay.
Supervisor of the jury. Just fold your notebooks up, please. Fold your notebooks and leave on the chair, please. Jury coming up.
Advancing the concerns of the DA's office or the concerns of the witnesses themselves or both?
Both, Your Honor.
Okay,
Judge,
so
if I may, I'm sorry to jump in, but just if I may, I
Sure.
do have what I think is a pretty substantial procedural objection.
okay.
Maybe I'd ask that you sort of just make a quick bifurcation of the issues here.